in this last block, I would like to call for the panelists to come here. We will have a nice interactive session where we can have discussion, let's say, about the role of clusters, networks, and the original equipment manufacturers and industry in scaling this model, how we can scale the use of recycled plastics. We have also online Jesus Castillo. Jesus, I would like to ask you to maybe turn on your camera, and I will.
Hello, good morning.
I will fix you in the screen.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you and see you.
Okay, nice.
Here we have all the panelists, so thank you very much for joining the session. I think I already introduced you, Vesna and Simon, so I'm also introducing you here, Elsa Cosin, who is holds a degree in thermal engineering and a master's in business management and administration. Elsa first joined the Polymeris team as innovation officer for the Nouvelle Aquitaine region. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it well. And she now holds a position of European financing and projects manager within the competitiveness cluster. We also have with us online Raúl Castillo. Is a PhD engineer with 3 master's degrees and more than 8 years of professional experience at Andaltec, the Andalusian Technology Center for the Plastics, where he currently holds the position of Research and Development Projects Department. Throughout his career, he has led and actively contributed to a wide range of research and innovation projects, including environmental impact assessment, computer-aided engineering, lighting systems, solar energy technology, solar and evaporative cooling solutions, industrial design of plastic components and injection molds, plastic metal laser welding, and the development of characterization of advanced polymer composites. And last but not least, we also have Marco O'Mahan, who is a CEO of Omaplast, a family-owned recycling company founded in 1981 in Slovenia, annually recycling 30,000 tons of plastic waste. He has been a driving force for the recycled plastic and waste materials industry for over 2 decades. And after joining the family business in 1998, he quickly rose to lead the company and steering his extension in international markets. Thank you very much for all the panelists and for being here with us today with this discussion panel. Here we aim to gather the inputs from plastic clusters. Plastic cluster are at the end, they are close to the industry. They are dynamizing the activities of the industry, joining their interest, looking for joint solutions on how they could make their sector a better sector. And at the end, you are key for the scaling and adoption of those technologies that are coming from the lab to the industry. So those clusters are really interesting for us in this last period of the project, and that is why we have here 3 representatives of the main clusters in Slovenia, in France, and in Alpes, Rhodes region, and in Andalusia. And for the first question, I'm also going to share here my questions in a second. As you can see, this is the panel, and we are going to have 3 key questions today, which are those. I'm going to put it in full screen. And I'm asking the audience online if you can see it.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
You can see it, right? Raúl is also here. And my first question to you would be, well, what role do clusters play in accelerating the scaling of circular plastic processes? This question is mainly targeted to you as clusters. I am talking about Raúl, Elsa, and Vesna. What is your experience? What is your main thoughts about this? Maybe we could talk about clusters as networks of collaboration. How do you dynamize this collaboration among the different industrial players? Clusters as supporting for financial innovation, how you can lead those companies to find different paths to find this necessary funding for them to uptake the recycled solutions, and clusters also as raising awareness raising the awareness of the technologies that are right now developed and available for you. So I don't know if maybe you, Elsa, would like to start.
Yeah, thank you for the kind introduction. So as you mentioned, I think there are three main points, main action of the cluster in order to help the scaling up of circular plastic processes. The first one, as you mentioned, is the networking. Cluster acts really as networks at regional scale, national scale, and also European scale, as we can see today. So thanks to this type of networks, it's important for us to link the different stakeholders between the one from France, but also the one from Slovenia, in Valencia, and also all the stakeholders related to this topic inside Europe. So that's a first point important in order to raise collaborative action and innovative projects together between public and private sectors too. Then there is this point about the funding instrument, because as you all mentioned, this is an important and a key factor, I would say, of success for these innovative projects. So to help people to access to this funding instruments, clusters are really important in order to map the different instruments that are existing, because there are lots at every scale. So this is the first thing, and then discussing with the stakeholders, the members of the clusters, and together with all the European partners, we can identify the right instruments. And in particular, in INCIRCULAR, we have seen that the cascade funding is really important in order to reach the SMEs. Because sometimes the other instruments are too big, too demanding in terms of effort and time. So we really need this type of instrument in order to fund innovative SMEs too. It was the case in INCIRCULAR, but still, as a cluster, we are participating and sometimes coordinating some other projects that are proposing cascade funding. So, for instance, at Polymeris, we are coordinating a project that is called Mat4U, about advanced materials. And in some months, in May, June, we will be able to propose again some cascade funding for innovative projects in the scope of advanced materials. So that's really important for the SMEs that are listening. And then the last point, if you can cut me if you want to add something, the last point is about the dissemination of this innovative project, because this action, as what we are doing these days, showing what results we can obtain thanks to these instruments and thanks to I3 instrument too, in general in the I3 project, is really important in order to demonstrate that it is feasible, that other SMEs could try, and then try to onboard other participants in this type of instruments.
Yes,
so something maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Elsa. Well, as I say, in particular, covering the, I would say, large network of plastic processors and the companies dealing with the plastic industry. So I will maybe assume and talk from our perspective, because we are the association for tool makers. Of course, the tool makers are the part of industrial plastic industry chain, of course, because they are working for the target for the plastic product at the end. But anyway, in our cluster, there are like over the 70 members, but mainly SMEs. So it is important that we kind of giving them a support of the guidance and the leadership, because they maybe find sometimes a difficult approach, how to approach to maybe large companies, or to find maybe some correct navigation through the funding instrument, what is available on the national field and on the European level as well. So from our perspective, we help them to really write the application, for example, and maybe to create the whole idea, and of course to connect with the different, I would say, cross-technology collaboration is very important, because in particular, not only SMEs, but also the large companies. Well, large companies are maybe involving most struggling or I don't know, difficulties to find the time and the right person to do that. So we are helping them in that perspective, because they are, of course, producing in the line for the in the lines for their, of course, sales growing, so they don't have the time to focus on the projects and research. So we are kind of giving them a support.
At the end, you have the information and the contacts. They're working in the technology. You have the information, and you are somehow leading them.
Yeah, this is our, I would say, competitive advantage, because we are offering them or opening them the doors to, of course, also to test something, because not every company is equipped with the research equipment, and of course a kind of pre-industrial lab that we have in-house to help them to prepare these materials to enter them on the pilot or industrial production systems as they have. So this is very important, I think, but also to broadening the network, like Elsa was saying, not only on a regional point of view, but more in the concept of European spreading.
Yeah. And what about your perspective, Raúl? You are coming from, you have, Andaltec at the end is a technological center, but the newly constituted cluster in Andalusia is it's quite a young cluster. It's also representing a less developed region according to the innovation scoreboard of the European Union. So it's very valuable your vision here.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. I think there was a little misunderstanding of communication. My name is Jesus and not Raúl. Okay, everything you say is right, but the name is Jesus. I am the manager of Andaltec R&D department, and we work in a lot of projects deeply with the cluster of Andalusia, the cluster of plastic in Andalusia. So because of that, I am here in representation of cluster, because we have a deep relation with the cluster. I will say that from a cluster perspective, our role is in the circular plastic economy is quite simple. We are there to connect people, capability and opportunity that otherwise will be very separated one from other. Cluster naturally bring together all kinds of company, large, little, also technological center like mine, research organization. So because of that, we have a very good overview of what is really happening along the whole value chain of plastic in that case. I mean, also at industrial and at industrial scale, and not only at research scale. For example, in region like our Andalusia, we see a lot of interesting ideas and technology around recyclability or reuse of plastic. For example, new material or new recycling way of new biocomposite solution are really in trends. So we see also that many of these innovation have difficulties when they have to go to an industrial level. So in that area is where actually a cluster can help to company and to society in general.
Yeah.
Our main role is to play and make a regional capability visible beyond our territory. So the problem is that a lot of information is not well communicated. So thanks to activity of diffusion, we improve that. So very often, thanks to a strong expertise in communication, we are able to manage that. And we also help to align innovation with industrial reality. Innovation only works if we can be if it can be implemented. So through cluster, through project driven by cluster, we make sure that industrial problem like cost, scalability, quality, or compatibility with other products are considered and yes, are taken into consideration. For example, here in Undertech, we have working some European project related with circular economy, like Compo Life. It is one example of them. Here we develop biocomposite based on olive fiber, so from the olive industry waste, and also we use recyclable polymer to mix with the olive fiber and develop a new material useful in that case for automotive or furniture sector, so at industrial level, not only a research level. Also, for example, the Plasmic is another project, another European project in which we have worked at industrial scale also. And in that project, we recover and revalorize the mixed plastic waste from the municipal solid waste. And we were able to use that for even food packaging application. So in summary, we can say that cluster allow to company of some specific sector, in that case plastic, to connect beyond industrial, beyond individual project, and make possible to turn a good idea into solution that can actually work at industrial scale and have and make a good benefit for the society in that case. So,
thank you. Thank you very much, Jesus. We lost you for a little while, but we almost catch your message.
okay.
Thank you very much. It is very interesting indeed because as Jesus was mentioning, I'm very sorry for the misunderstanding with the name. For the regions like Andalusia, the only thing about disseminating the information and transferring it to the companies, let's say, should be maybe more the scale of the companies is different. The innovation score is different. At the end, this transfer of information is really important for the less developed regions. Moving to the next question, because I would like to also hear from our industrial partners. Here you can see the question. What are the primary hurdles to transferring circular technologies from successful lab pilots to industrial manufacturing, the daily industrial manufacturing? And here I would like to mainly hear from our industrial partners or just panelists. I think we can maybe start with you, Marco.
Well, traditionally, recycling industry was always industry where, of course, we turn something from waste into usable and valuable resources. But from perspective of our customers, always needed to be cheaper, and they kind of expected that these materials are not of high quality. Maybe they have certain type of smell, the mechanical properties are not really perfect, and so on. So recyclers and this, let's say, final users, the industry that use these plastic materials, we were always looking at each other like, we said, you are expecting too much from us, and they were saying, well, you cannot do anything we say. So from this point of view, we need clusters to enter and help us in this way to connect and also to share the knowledge, because what I've learned in the past years and months being in the project is that clusters are not, how should I say, targeted by the daily market situation, daily impact of the geopolitical situations that are happening and are basically destroying this recycling base that we created in several decades, because in Europe we are basically leaders in recycling, but in the last few years we really lost, how should I say, the fundamentals. We are right now in a very strange position. So what I see is mainly with the clusters we can breach this situation where recycled materials are no longer treated as some cheap resource, but we want to turn it into something highly valuable.
Mm-hmm. And what are the in your case, Matthias? What are the barriers in the technology transfer? What are the risks? We heard from Raúl from Ecocastulum that he didn't needed to change the molds, to change the technologies, just using this technology. But what could be the barriers in this technology transfer, the risks that you may assume? What is your perspective on the barriers?
I'm sharing
to use
very
this
similar opinion than Marco. So it is not a problem on a tool side. You can adopt everything. At the end is the price. If the price of element is much higher than those from virgin, this causes a higher price of end equipment, let's say, in our case. We have to sell it. So we have to put additional force in marketing, additional force and euros in some actions that, okay, at the end they may bring some value, but not as much as we want. Maybe the price, I think, is the most visible obstacle here. If we could get this material at least for the same price as for virgin, this could also generate more production with these materials, and this could also lower the end price at the end. The role of clusters, sharing good practices, of course, to do maybe cluster or some small groups that can be very agile. we have to be very, very in short time. So we have to shorten the development cycles. So if we can create some environment that is really fast with turning these materials, or we can do the small loop. This, I think, we can also minimize the cost and be on the market or to come to the market with the right price, and maybe it could be a bit easier for further development and further.
Yes. What about the acceptance for the final customers? I think I am kind of convinced that this is also the important question. If the end users will accept this component from the recycled materials, for example, because if it is not like a good appearance or something like that, it might not be.
We also have to convince them. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so this is, I think, also the important perspective to
not forget that it will be a must to have a recycled content in all kinds of plastic.
Yeah, and also the targets.
So before, when I was saying this difference, when customers are always expecting cheap recycled material, or let's say when they say let's use the recycled material, they immediately think of it's going to be half cheaper. In future, it's not going to be like that, because if we want to go on with projects like this and upscale something, we will have to invest tremendous amount of money into investments, into development, in order to reuse these resources. What is maybe necessary in this case to talk about is how recycled materials are no longer just a cheap solution, but we need to convince the general industry to come with a different approach.
I totally agree and support that.
Okay. And Simon, what is your experience from Gorenje? And also, what about the material qualification challenges? How to qualify those new materials?
First of all, I would say I completely agree with Marco and Matias. The price is very important, especially in high quantity production, like our production is. So you can imagine every cent can have a huge effect in the end. If you multiply 1 cent with millions of pieces, you can calculate what numbers come out. Then other barrier I would mention is we are dealing also with, for example, refrigerators. In refrigerators, we are dealing with full contact plastic. There is quite a big barrier to use refurbished material. Then we have many visible components on the appliances where the design is very important. So we need to come to the good-looking piece in the final product in the end. This is also very important. But on the other side, we have also many hidden components where we can start playing with these small demos on usage of refurbished materials, like we did in our INCIRCULAR project. We started with completely independent product, and then we tested on additional products which are hidden inside the appliances.
Which is really interesting, because at the end, the clusters are the connectors also with policy, which also influence, as you mentioned, it will be compulsory in the future. You have your own concerns as industrial players, but the clusters are the kind of the link also. some.
It can be, it depends on the type of cluster, because for instance, on our side, on the polymerase side, we have also a syndicate group of private association that are playing this role with policy. So it's not really our role at Polymerase, but I know that sometimes clusters are playing this role too. So it can be linked, and through European project, for instance, it's always addressed, the link with policy, the link with standards also, in order to be able to exploit and implement the solution at the end of the project.
But at the end, you're somehow advocating for the interests of the members, and somehow, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's not really our job, I would say, because we are more here to maybe make some lobbying on the future open call that the Commission, European Commission, will be publishing, but not really on the regulation itself. However, I know that all the members that we have at Polymerase are linked more or less to, for instance, Bolivia, which is the private association that is really working on this policy field.
Okay. And it brings me to the to the third question I have here today, that it's about what specific realistic action we can commit to today to strengthen this cross-regional integration. How we can implement measures to really those challenges, those barriers that are identified. We learned about the policy, the policy developments at the European Union level from Olivia. We've learned about how the technological development process works, how the industries are adopting this, but at the end, if the industry don't see the numbers, this doesn't move. But what specific and realistic actions we could commit to strengthen this integration, this collaboration, vertical and horizontal collaboration across regions and between clusters and industries? I don't know who wants to take on this question first.
I can maybe start. I think the right path would be, or the right start would be the push, of course, from the industry, because I don't know, clusters and the networks who can like do the links with the right companies or persons or RTOs, for example, or academic institutions as well. They are a kind of a connectors, but I think the true idea of what they need, of what they want at the end to succeed, must come from industrial company, or I don't know, not maybe SMEs, because SMEs itself can maybe interact into the value chain, but maybe from the original equipment manufacturer, because they are building something and they know what to do. So according to their scope of, or I don't know, final idea of what they want, then we can integrate, of course, also another companies, another technological providers, another, I don't know, innovators, of course, the research compartments to test everything, to validate everything, so we can then build something in between for the targeted solution. And this is exactly the model of INCIRCULAR, because we are kind of strengthening the totally new value chain with new suppliers, I would say, that will not be that at the end of the project, but they will live forever. This is, I think, that the really right path. I don't know, you can complete.
I agree. This is one of the good examples. So in the beginning, we as Gorenja made some brainstorming inside what are our weak points, and then we built complete this consortium around this
problem there.
And maybe Jesus, your perspective here. What are the, well, You can comment both on the barriers and the actions that needs to be taken following the conversation.
Yeah, I think that when we talk about collaboration between regions, the good news is that we don't need to invent anything completely new. Most of what we need already exists. So the real challenge is connecting everything together and using it in a more practical way. For example, one very clear action is giving company easier access to places where they can actually see circular solution. So not just report or presentation, but real test, real pilots and real demonstration. So this make a huge difference, especially for companies that are still with the doubt of using circularity in their facility, in their product. Also related with policy or rule that we were speaking, is also a key point here. If cluster and industry share their perspective, their experience in a coordinated way, based on that, what the problem here is what really happened in factory and supply chain is not well related. So we can help to create rules that support circularity without making things more complicated that already are. So in the end, it is about being practical and create things that society can take advantage. I mean, not a theoretical or abstract idea. That is how collaboration become real, and I think we can start to delivering good result in a good way.
So INCIRCULAR is a good example for this actionable things and realistic actions, putting together different pieces and different parts. Do you have any other reflections on this question? Maybe how the value chain can have a coordinated policy positioning. How we had our policy brief soon. It was just delivered, and we're after checking what are the main challenges, the main barriers, the situation of this specific market. We produced a policy brief that was produced by you at Polymeris. And this maybe also a kind of way of contributing to the needs of the sector, right?
Indeed, the idea of this policy brief was really to merge all the, compare and merge the different policy that we have in the 3 different regions, in Slovenia, Andalusia, and in Auvergne-Rhône-Alpes in France. And the idea was really to compare and see in which manner this is a drawback for the collaboration, because as the policies are not really the same in a different country, it's a big problem in order to have collaboration between the different actors, because they don't have the same barrier in terms of regulation. So this is one of the key points, I think. Yeah, you're right, and so that's why we have raised the voice in this policy brief, in particular also to our project officer and in general at the European Commission. And also, I think that there are other points that must be addressed in order to continue and follow up with this collaboration between the 2 countries. And probably INCIRCULAR is a starting point for this, because now that the contacts are done, it will be easier probably to pursue the collaboration and yeah, make link in terms of policy regulation, in terms of technical innovation between the actors as value chain and so on. So yeah.
Okay, and any other reactions to what we have been mentioning? Maybe Matthias, when Vesna called you, I have a new material and I want you to test it. What were your initial thoughts? The the things that could be maybe a barrier for this collaboration? I'm taking on this, I'm not taking on this, and
We're always open for new ideas, new good product, good material. We also have some common projects together already implemented in our production. So yeah, it is nice to hear Vesna that she has new good material, but at the end we have to implement it somehow. I think this is a very good material ready to be spread it in a wider field. Also, we had some presentations where with very nice idea of implementation, especially those from role presentation. Just go on, I think.
great. And maybe one thing that during those days, Philippe was mentioning that for scaling the production, we need quantities. So we need kilos, tons of kilos of this to really produce the material and have enough quantities in a production. So this is I think homoplast is your question is are there quantities and it's the price also there?
Price is always.
It's always
Just I wanted to say something. Sorry for that.
Yeah.
So many questions in my head. I have a point. For me, it's very important to have the standardization for the market of recycling process for the market for many types of plastics to have a like a model how to do it, to buy the machines as we saw by in Slovenia, a nice project to have all machine and like a kind of standardization of recycle process and to have the same process for to use this process for the whole industry and to have volume for production. That was some questions are very important. To have the plants to recycle the material because you have different materials. You have material from Korea, you have another material by FEDA close to our plant, and the demand of the market because you have the demand of the market, but the process, the standardization of process to recycle the volume of recycled material is low, and as you explained, the international environment.
Yeah.
You know, and the price, because the price will decrease if the volume, if there is a standardization of the process.
Yeah.
And I know it's difficult. It's very difficult.
Yeah. From a position of a recycler, we are right now in some standstill mode because there is so much going on. The big impact will have, of course, the recycled content in all the products and so on. One very, very important thing is if you want to make a circular economy, you cannot be export dependent on plastic waste. And we are right now export dependent.
Mm-hmm.
And we created this throughout the years of course, ongoing export business.
Mm-hmm.
I think this ban which is coming right now is going to create a lot of problems in a long time. Because we were in much, much better shape a few years back as a recycling industry, and we could have implemented that earlier, but obviously other involved parties know why this happened. But I would say we are in a standstill mode because we are right now targeted from all sides. We just don't know how to behave in the current situation, whether to invest, whether to go into new projects, whether to, even think about expanding and so on. I mean, of course, I'm still optimistic. I think we are the leaders in recycling, as I said, in Europe, and it will continue to be so. But at this point, it's a lot of uncertainty. So we will see how all this is. Everybody's waiting at the moment.
I'm sure the price of recycled material will decrease because we have the demand, and the problem is international investment and the international financing, as France, maybe Slovenia, maybe Poland, maybe to support the market with money.
Yes.
To accelerate the production
And we have
standardization and the volume.
Yeah, you have seen today they are going to change the tariff codes for the recycled materials to control the imports. Of course, this is all necessary because if we want to have here really organized and well done recycling, it will cost, and we cannot compete with Asian recycled materials and with I don't know, materials coming from countries where we are not really sure whether the material is recycled or not.
Yeah.
So this is all coming. That's why we say we are in standstill, because we simply don't know how this will be absorbed on the market.
You know too, the difficulties to develop the recycled material, as we saw the sample at the beginning, the step 1, step 2, it's so, it's like, it's a lot of time, a lot of time to develop and to make research and development for every raw materials, recycled raw materials. So we need money to develop, as with European Union, we need financing, and it's not so easy, you know.
Yeah, but not to understand wrong. What my perspective is from point of view, a recycler in post-consumer recycling. Yeah? This is a little bit different than the project we are talking about today. And I have to say that, let's say, in-house recycling and closing the loop inside the companies and closing the loop with materials that have very controlled flow, this is working great. We are really successful in these things, and such projects are proof of that.
But you are saying that you are now in the steady mode. Will you be able to react fast if this will change in the optimistic way? Or will you be in the delay phase? So some competitors will win that situation maybe.
No, I mean, let's put it this way. Maybe I sounded too. Maybe I expressed myself wrong. No, we are waiting and observing. So if you ask me what specific realistic actions we need to do today, I would say no, let's just wait, because we need some time. Yeah? But as I said before, I'm pretty sure when all this implemented and all this is absorbed, there would be a lot of interest in expanding the recycling capacity and overall business, you know, in sorting, in mechanical recycling. The chemical recycling is coming, which is totally at the beginning. So, I mean, in coming years, it will be really interesting to discuss these things.
It's really interesting debate, and I would like to also open this to other members here in the room. Do you have any other questions to Robert, please?
Because I'm an end user and appreciate that Marco and Matthias say, think of the end user of recycled plastics. I'm working on the packaging of cosmetics and medical devices. And so, of course, the price is important. If you can pay less, it does. But the performance is more important for this markets, where the price of the raw materials are not that important. And when there is also recycling, there is pre-processing. This is molten, sheared in an extruder. So the performance is lost. And so the people, end users in cosmetics, who is responsible for the product? The company which is marketing the product. If there is a trouble, the cosmetic company is responsible for you. So this is what they are thinking of mainly. So the performance is very important, and their point is, will I take this recycled material? Yes or no? Go, no go. And what are the criteria for this decision, for taking this decision?
Well, I think that what you expressed is true. We as a recycling company, we get a lot of problems with different kind of packaging built in a different way, using different technologies, different materials, and at the end we get it into the waste stream. And I have to be honest, sometimes we have to eliminate a big share of material which needs to be incinerated. It's totally cannot be used at all. But I think also in this aspect, a lot of things are in progress. Digital passports, the how it's called, the design, eco-design, and these kind of things. Yes. So this is coming again. That's why I'm saying we are expecting so many things to come in.
Yeah, but I'm saying we are talking of cross-regional integration. This is written on the screen.
Yeah.
Actually, we have to integrate the full value chain. Also. So the end users should be included. Of course, we are building European community, so this is internationally important.
Yeah, and I think it's also related to the type of product we're developing. And here, maybe you, Matthias, and Simon, you can maybe talk about. It depends on where you are placing these recycled materials, which pieces you are choosing to have with bioplastics. So it may not work for some applications, like in the medical sectors or sectors that are really strict on certain aspects.
Yes, this is a small market, so it's not automatic.
Yeah, it's important. It's important if it is visible or invisible, hidden or not. Maybe also some products have margin high enough that we can afford it. So it is not a problem to put it, but those are boutique series. We always, if you take into account this bigger gross part, you catch the euros everywhere.
Yeah, but
especially in his business.
We are high quantity production at.
Yeah, but what you mentioned just today during the presentation, Natasha, when you were talking, this is completely new. It is not like we are not hearing that a lot. That you are willing to incorporate also the visible part, also the aesthetic performance product, the recycled materials, which is not, they have some flashes, they are not made of virgin and you can see it with the naked eye. But you are willing to do that just for the green branding of your product.
Or to try market.
I had to
try if they are
acceptable.
Yes.
You don't get that a lot from the original equipment manufacturers again.
Yeah.
So this is a new trend, I would say, just to try something new. Maybe it will fit on the
having a specific line of products that are specifically targeting this segment or appreciating this.
Also in our industry, we are owning, let's say, 10 brands, which are 10 brands of domestic appliances, which are sold around Europe and around the world. And we are having a high-end brand like Asco, which is following this eco and this story. So there is also a wish to implement some recycled material inside and so on. So there are options to start.
I think at the end it was a really fruitful conversation. I don't know if you want to have a last words from your side, maybe Jesus. You would like? We're wrapping up the round table. If you have any conclusion in mind, or you was just like to say the final words from your side?
Questions from the online participants?
Or any questions from the online participants?
No questions.
No.
No question, everything fine.
No questions.
Thank you, Jorge.
Maybe you can wrap.
For me, just say that the important things is to be practical and create things that society can take advantage of that, not just idea, and try to make these ideas into real product and things that society can take advantage of that, because that is what society wants, to develop product and develop new things that they can take advantage, not just an idea and something that finishes on paper.
Maybe Emeline, your last words.
So on my side, I think that we need to have parallel action on all the aspects. We mentioned standardization policy, how we can calculate the content of recycled material inside the material. This is the point. And of course, the funding instruments, and in order to fund the innovative project, that should, of course, involve all the value chain in order to be coherent and link people, end users with research centers and compounders and all the people that are involved in order to have a final project at the end.
Great. And Vesna, what would you like to stress in this roundtable?
Maybe I would give here the word to the industry. We are here, of course, for every kind of support you might need. This will be the core. And just to continue the following examples, like this project, for example, I think very important is also to stress that regulation is one of the key pushers from the Commission, for example. Because if there will be a new directives that will maybe support this idea of the circularity of but this would be needed to be the measurable target, or like Jesus just had something what is not only on the paper but what can be really implemented. So not too high, this cannot be implemented, but realistic ones, a realistic target. I think valuable if this will push the industry and the collaborators all together to the final product itself.
Okay. Marco, the concept you would like to strengthen for this roundtable?
One thing that came to my mind and now was also about the legislation. All these implementations we are expecting and are about to take place. These are directives that are, being sent to the member states, and then member states have their position to accept them or implement them in their own way. So we see sometimes it's not really, when we speak with different companies from different regions, we don't get the same feedback on how they understand these directives and so on. So maybe here, this was more the question from before. Should also be done something. But otherwise, in general, to conclude this, I have to say that I'm really happy to be a part of such project. This was for our industry, not really the, let's say, standard. So we are really learning a lot, and we see that, with such cooperation that we are doing that bright future.
Thank you. And Matthias, what you would like to bring
Will be
home?
very short. We will do our best and help with all recycled materials to become wider use, and maybe also lobbying at our government to set rules that will help. Maybe the ratio will be better in a few years. I hope it will be.
Come on, we close with you.
Yeah, so maybe we started in our industry with small steps. So where the price, where we have enough margins to cover this price gap. So we started with high-end products, and we should continue this way, and with additional optimizations, maybe we can one day start producing components for low-end appliances as well from such material. But the price will need to come to the same level as virgin material.
So thank you very much, everyone, for attending the event. Thank you very much, Jesus, Elsa, Besma, Marco, Matias, and Simon. I think it was interesting. We had the chance to have some discussions with the people here. Thank you for all online attendance. We had today 15 online attendants and 20 in person, so we are around 35 here. And the good thing is that the recording will be uploaded to the YouTube channel, so we expect these ideas to be further disseminated and that the word will be heard wherever it needs to be heard. So thank you very much for all the participants. I think they deserve an applause. And we're closing the online session, and we are also having a networking lunch here in the room. So thank you very much for your participation and for your contributions. Okay.
Thank you very much. Bye, Katarina.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.